Alright, hello. I'm known as Viking. I was Marvin's teammate under this tournament, and he asked me to commentate over one of these attacks that were going on. So let's see what happens. We have Modus coming in. Looks like fully tier 3 boosted creeps. Is that right? Yeah, it is. It's a fully tier 3 boosted, so they're gonna be pretty tough to crack. Especially since I assume Marvin isn't gonna pull out boosts on his own here for the defense. We see an attacker and a repairer coming up straight out of the gate. I assume the melee attacker probably won't be able to do much here. And he's even coming in with 2 quads here. So another tier 3 booster quad, but not at full strength. Probably sent from another room which wasn't full level. But yeah, definitely has coordinated quads. So right off the gate we do see a problem in the attack. Obviously he's prioritizing at the top, the strongest quad over here. He's prioritizing a 1 gap wall, so it won't even be able to get through even if it breaches here. Unless he has code to handle that, of course. Which he might, but, you know, overall it doesn't deal that much damage, because it could deal more damage on the wider rampart section. So we see the melee defender going up there, trying to get them to bounce, but I guess they moved back, and then it reprioritizes, goes to the bottom. They also moved back, so then it goes back to the top again. Definitely not so versatile with the priorities here. We see another quad coming in as well. But definitely some issues with the attacking code. They're gonna walk on top of each other. Which definitely shouldn't happen, and it doesn't look like there is any recovery code for that. So that's probably... That's pretty sad, actually. So these tier 3 quads that are full-sized, they should be able to deal a lot of damage to these ramparts if they actually had proper code for it. But obviously stuff like this happens, and it's hard to debug because these attacks are pretty rare. But yeah, really one mistake in like a traffic priority code and stuff like that can really mess up your attacks very quickly. And that's definitely what we're seeing here. So yeah, on the defense we don't have any boosts coming out. But it looks like this bottom quad is still gonna be pushed away. Maybe because it's not fully sized, and the move parts also aren't tier 3 boosted. It looks like only tier 1 or 2 or something. So it's actually doing quite a good job. So now at the top, even though we have these 2 strong tier 3 quads, they kind of messed up and walked into each other. And they're also targeting just this one rampart section where they're not dealing a lot of damage. So even though they're all here, it's kind of messed up and it's wasting a lot of potential. So it could be dealing a lot of damage. Especially since you notice they don't actually have that much heal on them. They really prioritize the ranged attack parts. So you could be dealing a lot of damage if they worked out well. So yeah, against the fully tier 3 full-sized quads up at the top, it could be dangerous if they sat on the right side alongside the broad rampart section, because they could probably just get in range 1 of the ramparts and damage all of them at the same time, which the repairers, obviously the repairers can repair that one rampart tile that was under attack, but if they sat alongside the broad rampart section and damaged all of it, it would be very tough to repair. Yeah, and you would probably need some boosted defenders to hold them off. But obviously this room is RCL 7, so that would also be quite easy. And you see the terminal is full anyway, so it's got enough boosts, and it's got the labs for it. So The quad on the bottom left definitely is quite scared of these melee defenders. Probably because they could try to push out and deal some damage. And Modus kind of wants to perhaps bait that out and try to get away prematurely. So just trying to play it a little safe, but also a little risky, just to see what will happen. I don't know how advanced this attack code is. Obviously there's some mistakes in here, so I'm not sure if that's a consideration. But we definitely see the melee defenders affecting his code. Also somewhat interesting is the quad on the bottom. Actually, there's a natural wall in between those two rampart sections. So if it went to the right, it could sit up against the rampart and of course be pushed off by the melee defender, but then could go on the left side. And the melee defender would have to walk like, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 ticks to get over to the other side, whereas the quad would only need like 1 or 2 ticks to get over. So that is quite smart. The defense actually ended up making 2 melee defenders, so there's 1 on each side. So the quad couldn't just keep kiting around that natural wall. So that's pretty effective. We see there's another quad up in the top that's come in. Also a smaller one, but that also messed up its movement. Moved into the other one. It looks like, yeah. So as you can see, the melee defender here really isn't doing enough damage to push off even one of these tier 3 creeps. So against proper code you would definitely need either better rampart positioning or boost. But from this range, when they're messed up and they're kind of standing back like this, they're not dealing too much damage. And the repairers seem to be able to take care of that somewhat decently. We still have more coming in, so we have 4 repairers here. Doing a good amount, and you see the terminal is full as well. I don't know if it was at the start, but it's pretty good to just ship energy into a room like this. Especially because you're making him waste so many boosts. It's always going to be worth just shipping energy into this room and just defending it, if it works out like this. So just spamming repairers onto that rampart. Looks like it's down to 2.5 million hits though. And it started at 5 million, if I recall. So it definitely has done some damage, even though the code is kind of messed up here. Which could maybe be scary, but I'm not sure. I kinda doubt these quads can go through that part anyway. I mean, the towers are quite far away, so if he has code for it, it's definitely possible. But you would also need to get the second layer. There's a second layer of ramparts behind that. That's also gonna have to be destroyed. And he's also gonna have to do that from range, which is gonna be slower again, so it's kind of an unlucky situation here. I would definitely prefer attacking on the right side, just so you could get more damage out, especially when there's not that much defense here. It's even spawned 3 melee defenders, even though there's only a spot for 1. But I guess there would be more spots if they get through that rampart section and onto the second layer. And also they can wrap around to the right side if needed. Yeah, also some ranged defenders, which normally I can see that working to try and push them off even more. Actually at the bottom I would probably even consider putting them at the front, switching them with the melee defenders. Just if they had enough power, of course. to push off the quad. You could switch them to the front and just keep them straight off the walls entirely. But here they're just sitting back, and they're not gonna be able to do enough damage to really warrant anything anyway, so that's fine, I guess. But yeah, it looks like the repairing is working out quite well now. We're still at 2.3 million hits, so the damage has slowed down quite a lot. One of the quads did die now, and now we have all the repairers spawned. And we're still spawning more repairers as well, and this room is not gonna get drained. The storage is full of energy and the terminal is completely filled with energy. So as long as we have enough repairers here, we don't even need boosts to defend against just this. Obviously if we had more fully tier 3 booster quads sitting along the thick rampart sections, it could start getting pretty dangerous, but that is very expensive and quite hard to feel. You need a lot of high level rooms to get that sort of stuff out. Get enough boosts for it and enough spawn capacity for it. It can be quite tough. Yeah, and I assume the sources are within the rampart bounds as well. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, you're not gonna drain this room when the terminal and the storage is this full. Like, obviously you're gonna be able to ship in energy from the other rooms. So yeah, this kind of brute force attack is very tough to pull off. If it doesn't immediately work, well, you're gonna have to drain like his whole empire. And in the case for Screeps Warfare Championship, you'd have to kind of drain all of his alliance. I'm saying kinda because not everyone's gonna send energy, of course, but that's the idea at least. You see terminal storage full. Got 200,000 plus in terminal, 400,000 plus in storage. I mean, good luck getting through that with all these repairers. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of repairers coming out. But I mean, it's fair enough, because they not only have to withstand all the damage, they also have to get them back up to 5 million again. And maybe even higher. There's nothing wrong with it just getting them higher anyway, when this room has been under threat. But yeah, I mean, looks like a successful defense. We'll scale down the repairers here, hopefully, and it looks like they're still getting spawned. It's a lot of repairers. But yeah, if it scaled down a bit on them, got the ramparts a bit higher, this is successful defense.